After 3 seasons of Alice in Borderland, I honestly thought the final card being revealed as the Joker meant the show was done. Like, okay, that's the end game. That's the last piece of the puzzle. But nope. Turns out, it was just the beginning. Because now the show has finally revealed the real meaning behind the title Alice in Borderland. Alice is actually the name of a girl who lives in LA, USA. I always wondered, why is it called Alice in Borderland? Who is Alice? And now we finally know. It's not just a reference to Arisu or some clever wordplay with Alice in Wonderland. There's a real Alice, and her story is about to begin. That detail completely changes the way I look at the series. For so long, we assumed the title was just metaphorical, but no, it's literal. There's an actual Alice. She's real. She's out there, and her story is about to shake things up. And I'm just gonna say it straight up. This was so much better than Squid Game. Like, there's not even an argument for me. Alice in Borderland has been building toward this in such a clever way, and the ending of this season really sets up something much, much bigger. But I know a lot of you are still a little confused about what actually happened, especially with that whole Joker card thing. So let's break it down together. So, first things first, the big question, who is the Joker? Here's the thing. According to the Gatekeeper, the Joker isn't a person. It's not a hidden villain, not a character waiting to be revealed. The Joker is nothing. It represents nothingness, and I actually love that idea. The Joker is like this force that exists everywhere, something we all kind of sense but can't really describe. It's not about a face or an identity. It's about emptiness, about the void that underlies everything. That's such a wild, almost philosophical twist to throw into the series. But even if the Joker is nothing, it still matters. Because Alice in Borderland never introduces something without a purpose. That card is symbolic, and I think the show will expand on it in the future. To me, it feels like the Joker could represent the hidden structure of the world, the thing that pulls the strings in both the Borderland and the real world. And let's be honest, something is pulling the strings, because players don't just randomly end up in the Borderland. The system feeds off disasters, accidents, and tragedies, and in the finale, we saw earthquakes hitting different parts of the world. America, Europe, everywhere. That's not random. That's a signal. The game is expanding, and that brings me to where the story is going. I think the next chapter won't just stay focused on Arisu and Usagi. Don't get me wrong, I love them, and I don't want them written off just for the sake of bringing in new characters. But the Gatekeeper made it clear, something big is about to happen. If earthquakes are happening worldwide, then players are about to come in from everywhere. We're not talking about dozens of players anymore. We're talking thousands, maybe even millions. And that's why the reveal of Alice in LA is so important. I think the next season is going to follow her journey. We'll get a new cast, new games, and a much larger scale than anything we've seen before. And at the same time, I don't think Arisu and Usagi are gone. The earthquakes are also happening where they live, so it makes sense their stories will continue too. My guess, we'll be following multiple perspectives, and eventually, these stories will intersect. Now, another part I've seen people confused about is the final game with Arisu. Why didn't he die when the dice rolled on 7? Here's my take. It was rigged. What we saw wasn't really Arisu's destined future. It was a setup. The whole thing was manipulated to trap him. The real game actually ended the moment the exit door appeared. The dice roll wasn't about chance. It was added as a way to pressure Arisu into citizenship. That's why it looked like his future was sealed, but in reality, it was all part of the system's trick. So, yeah, it was never really about the dice. It was about pushing Arisu into a corner, making him choose. And here's where it gets even more interesting. If you think the Gatekeeper is the final boss, you're wrong. There's clearly something or someone above him. The Joker as nothingness hints at a bigger truth. The games are run by something so vast and abstract that we can't even define it. Every season so far has escalated the tension, the violence, and the scale of what's happening. And now that the show is going worldwide, I can only imagine the kinds of games we're going to see. It's going to be insane. Personally, I loved this season, just like the previous ones. It kept me hooked from start to finish. The pacing, the reveals, the way it all tied together. It was brilliant. And honestly, I think Alice in Borderland deserves the kind of recognition that Squid Game got. I know Squid Game blew up globally, and because of that they're trying to make it more international. But let's be real, that felt kind of forced, especially with how weak the ending was. Alice in Borderland, this feels like a planned story, like everything is being built step by step, with purpose. That's why I'm hyped for what's next. I just hope Netflix gives them the budget they deserve, because with this setup, the next season could be absolutely epic. So, yeah, for me, this season was a huge win. The Joker wasn't a person, it was nothingness, the emptiness behind it all. The name, Alice, wasn't just symbolic, it's literally the name of a girl living in LA, and her story is about to take center stage. And with earthquakes happening worldwide, the Borderland is opening up on a massive scale. Now, whether Arisu and Usagi stick around or not, I'm excited. I just hope they don't kill them off for no reason, because their journey has been amazing to watch. But even if the focus shifts, I trust the show to deliver. And honestly, if they keep this up, I can easily see Alice in Borderland becoming even bigger than Squid Game. But hey, that's just how I see it. I'd love to know what you guys think. Were you happy with this season? Do you think Alice is going to be the new main character? And what's your theory on the Joker card? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I read all of them. And if you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to like the video and subscribe for more deep dives.